So today's revision class will be on food preparation. Okay, or else cooking. We call it as food preparation or else cooking. Okay, food is a complex mixture of many different chemical components. The study of food preparation involves understanding the changes that occurs in these components during preparation as a result of their interaction with one another, with the medium of cooking, the temperature of cooking, and the environment. Just it's an introduction, okay? So reasons for cooking the foods, why we are supposed to cook the foods. Okay, most foods are acceptable only where they are cooked. The raw meat you cannot have. You have to cook it. Okay. So most of the foods you cannot accept as it is. So some processing should be done. Okay, it is done via cooking. Except for some fruits and vegetables, most of the food we eat is cooked. For example, you can have salad, a raw cucumber, raw carrot, you can have it. Okay. So few things you cannot have it raw, even the fruits also. So that has to be cooked. Even the tea or the coffee or milk we take in the morning and the bread we take with it involves some manner of cooking. For centuries, we have nurtured this art of cooking. So the main advantages or the benefits of cooking, okay, it helps to enhance the taste and flavor of food and makes it more appetizing. Okay, so the cooked foods will taste better. Okay, it will make it more appetizing. And the number of desirable changes occurs with food during the cooking. For instance, vegetables become soft. Like desirable changes. You can cook a liquid food, semi-solid, solid, fried, or whatever thing. Okay, you can make the desired changes in the food. Food preparation is very much a part of the culture of the region. Okay, so every culture has their own cooking method. Okay, so Northeast people may cook differently. The South Indian people can cook differently. Their food will be different. As cooking involves heating of foods, many microorganisms are destroyed during the course of cooking. This renders the food safe for eating. That's the main thing. Okay, cooking most importantly kills the microorganisms because we are bringing it at the boiling temperature and cooling it down. Okay, with all this process, you can kill the microorganism. For example, you're boiling the milk. So whatever bacteria or the microorganism present in the milk, such as tuberculosis bacillus, it can be destroyed by boiling. Okay, cooking food helps to improve the unlimited variety in the menu. So unlimited variety, baking, you can, if you have a same ingredient, you can present it in a different way. Cooked food is easily chewed and swallowed. Okay, for example, porridge, congees, whatever we prepare, okay, for the sick people also we can give because it is easily chewable and swallowed and easily digestible also. So principles of cooking. Okay, mainly there are three principles: conduction, convection, and radiations. Same applies for the heat. Okay, so conduction. In conduction, heat flows from surface to the food. For efficient conduction, from one host surface to another area of contact has to be as large as possible. You can see the medium what we are using nowadays is a gas cylinder, I mean gas cooker. Okay, so the pan or the tawa or whatever we are using, it is a large surface compared to the gas, right? So that's why the main conduction. This is convection. Okay, convection is a convection. It's a transfer of heat from one place to another by the movement of fluids. Usually heat transfers in the form of liquids and gases. When the liquid or the air is heated, the parts near to the heat becomes warm and less dense. Roasting is mainly by convection. Roast. Okay. If possible, somebody admit Vijaya. When a okay, that is convection. Radiation. So radiation, when the heat radiation reach food, only the surface is heated by them. The energy radiated or transmitted in the form of rays, waves or particles. They do not penetrate the food. Okay, this is a picture which shows the conduction, convection and the radiations. Okay. The next is methods of cooking. Alright, this is very easy. So there are different variety of methods we use to cook a food. So boiling, first method is boiling. Boiling is the most common and simplest way of cooking. Boiling is cooking in water at 100 degrees centigrade. Example, rice, pulse, roots, tubers and vegetables. Advantage. Healthy as it requires less or no oil. Easily chewable and digestible. Fast and simple way to cook. But disadvantage, vitamins and minerals are lost. So whether you can see this picture, the below picture. Somebody answer it.
Yes, ma'am.
So it's a method. Okay, so each method I have tried to provide a picture. Okay, so in this picture you can see the water is boiling and the vegetables are boiling. Okay, so that is a method of cooking, boiling at the boiling point. Okay. The next method after boiling is simmering. The word itself will say simmering. Simperako. That is from high flame you are simmering it. Okay, when the food is cooked in the pan with the fitted lid at the temperature just below the boiling point. That is 82 to 99 degree Celsius. Okay. Example, meat and fish. So you're not bringing it into boiling. Okay, just you have to simmer it. So advantage, foods get cooked uniformly and less chances of burning. Disadvantage, it is time consuming and loss of water soluble vitamins. Okay, see here you can see water is yet to come for the boiling. Okay, so before that only they are doing the procedure. Okay, all the things, and you are closing the lid so that within the pressure itself you can cook it. Okay, that is simmering. Next, poaching. I think many of you heard about the word poaching. Commonly we'll cook egg. Okay, poached egg in the hospital setting in all bland diet and the protein diet. The patients are provided with the poached egg. So food are cooked at the temperature below the boiling point, that is 80 to 85 degree. In poaching, okay, in addition to that, you can add a salt or the vinegar. For example, you can cook a fish or the egg. In this surface of liquid shows slight movement, no bubbles or boiling. So when the water gets heat, not boiled, okay, you will can break the egg and you can put it inside. Okay. So you can remove it immediately also, or little bit time is needed, then you can remove. Advantage, easily digestible, quick method of cooking. Disadvantage, water soluble nutrients are lost, bland in taste, because sometimes you can add salt or vinegar. Most of the time nobody will have anything. Okay, so that will be bland in taste. So next we'll see the picture of poaching. So the poaching, okay, see here you can see the in picture, okay, the water is not boiling, it is below the boiling point, and they are cooking egg with this method. That is poaching. This is stewing. Stew and all, okay. This method is meant to cook in small amount of liquids. So you're using only small quantity of liquid or fluid, okay. For stewing, food is half covered with the liquids, and as soon as it reaches into the boiling point, the heat is reduced to make it simmer for longer period of time, okay. Use a pan with a well-fitting lid to prevent evaporation. Example, meat and Bengal grass used with the help of stewing. Mostly the soups and all of you can do with this method. That is advantage. The loss of nutrient is less because you are using less amount of water, so it cannot matlab everything will not be evaporated, okay. Flavor is retained, and main thing, it is time consuming. So this picture shows the simmering. Okay, sorry, I got only the non-veg item for the cooking, okay, photos. Okay, next we'll see steaming. It's a common method. Okay, steaming. Cooking food in water vapors with or without pressure. Example, pressure cooker, temperature higher than 100 degrees Celsius. It saves nutrients, fuel, and time. There are two types of steaming, that is wet steaming and dry steaming. Okay. Advantage, easily digestible. Food cannot be overcooked. Disadvantage, specialized instrument is required, like cooker you need, okay, for this purpose. So next is a picture of steaming. So most commonly idlis in South Indian, okay, they'll use this steaming method to cook the idlis. Next, roasting and frying. So roasting, food is smeared with little fat and exposed to the heat or flame. Example, chicken, mutton. Okay, we call it as also barbecue chicken. That is nothing but the roasting. Okay, advantage, improves the color and texture and the taste also. Disadvantage, lots of loss of nutrients. So frying, food is brought in contact with hot fat. Example, in types, deep frying and shallow frying. In the deep fry, you will fully immerse the food item, okay, into the hot oil. For example, you have to prepare a puri or a cutlet or a samosa. Okay, shallow frying, a little bit of less quantity of oil is used. For example, if you want to prepare omelette or the dosa or anything else. Advantages: improves the color, taste, texture, and it's a quick method. Disadvantage: loss of nutrients, attention requires, and it is unhealthy also because you're using lots of fats. So the first picture shows roasting of a chicken. Second picture shows a frying, okay, of chicken. Dry heat. Okay, dry heat method is used in the baking. It is done in hot air oven. A specialized instrument is required for the baking, and it's very expensive and slow method of cooking. At least 30 to 40 minutes you have to bake it. The cooking temperature may vary from 250 degree to 500 degree Fahrenheit. Example: bread, biscuits, cakes you will bake. Next is grilling. Okay, grilling, cooking by direct heat, done by either in a grill or direct on the flame. Quick method of cooking, example kebabs, okay, cheese, tomatoes and brinjals, you can grill it. So for example, if you want to do the bengan ka barta, so the bengan has to be put over the flame, directly over the flame, okay. First picture indicates the baking of a cake and the second is grilling with the help of a griller. Next is food adulteration, okay. So what is food adulteration and how you can prevent it and what are the steps taken by the government to ensure the food safety? All those things we'll see. Food adulteration, a substance which alters the quality, nature or the composition on adding or removing is termed as adulteration. Something you have to add or something you're removing it from the food product which may alter the quality of the food or the nature of the food or the composition of the food. Okay, so you have intentional, incidental, metallic contamination. Intentional, the purposefully you are mixing something in the food. For example, okay, so for example, the coffee powder which is mixed up with the seeds, some other seeds which are looking similar in color. Okay, that is to manufacture more products or to sell it. Okay, that's why that is intentional for the profit purpose. Incidental, by mistake you can put something but for by mistake. Okay, metallic, some kind of metals are contaminated. Okay, so common adulteration found in the foods. So grains and grams. So whatever you take from the shop, right, to increase the weight of those grams, you can see small sand pieces or the marble pieces and the clays. Okay, even the soapstone pieces. Okay, these things are added. And pulses. Kesari dal. Okay, the color. The extra color powders can be added for the most shining show. Wheat flour. Okay, wheat flour and the maida. These are white in color, right? So for this, they can add lime, powdered lime, which is also white in color. Even the talcum powder, it's also white in color. So they can add this to that. Okay. So turmeric powder, it's yellow in color. Maternal yellow can be added to it. Pepper, dry papaya seeds. It will look similar. Okay, pepper and dry papaya seeds are looking somewhat similar. So they can add this both together. Okay, sweets. So most of the sweets, whatever you're buying, it's colorful, right? red color, yellow color, green color, because they're adding the food colors. Some food colors are safe and some food colors are harmful. Okay, honey. For the honey, they can add the jaggery water or the sugar water also. Tea. Colored tea leaves after removing the essence. Okay, so these are the some kind of this. See what I said, the coffee seeds, right? See below they have shown the picture of these seeds, somewhat similar to the coffee seeds. Okay. So the government has launched the Food Adulteration Act in the year 1954. Okay, so it came into effect on Jan 1st, 1955. The purpose is to ensure that are pure and wholesome, to prevent the deception, okay, or the fraud, and to ensure fair trade particles. Standards have been laid down in this act for those in the various from the state to state. In 63 and 69, the act was amended, that is modified, okay, in order to make this strict. On 1st April 76, another amendment came into force of life imprisonment in certain circumstances. So these are the laws, okay, which are formulated by the government to prevent the food adulteration and to improve the quality of food for the consumers. So when you can call it as a adulteration, okay, a mixture of inferior or the cheap substance is added to the food and removing certain ingredient from the food, okay, and while packaging the food you're using insanitary conditions, okay, and sale of insect infected food, because most of the sweet items, okay, sugar content items, you cannot keep it for longer time. For example, for the few years back there was issues with the Cadbury's chocolate, that the worms were found in the chocolates, okay. Obtaining the food from deceased animals, for example, egg, if you getting during the bird flu time, okay, even the eggs will be infected, and the infected cows can give the infected milks. So that's why obtaining a food from the deceased animals. Incorporation of poisonous components, use of coloring matters in greater quantities than approved. Okay, government has provided some kind of rules and regulations for the colors also, so that has to be followed. Okay, so in India, what are the food standards we are following? So mainly AGMARK. Whatever you buy, you will see for that mark, AGMARK marks. Okay. So AGMARK stands for AG. Okay. It means agriculture, and the mark for the certification. Okay. Agricultural certification. So it is by the Agriculture Produced Act of 1937. The act defines the quality of cereals, spices, oilseeds and ghee. Okay, they grade the product to 1, 2, 3, 4 or special, good, fair and ordinary. They also specify type of packing of the product. So if you buy some kind of foods like oils or the ghees, okay, see in this picture they have shown it is marked. Okay, it is approved by the government. Next, ISI, that is Indian Standards Institute. So ISI, AGMA, even AGMA can be done or the ISI can be done. Okay. So it is considered to be standard by government of consumers and industry. Okay. It's mainly for the consumer purpose. The processed foods, animal products, spices, vegetables, fruits products commonly come with ISI labels. Next, ISO and HACCP. Okay, HACCP is Hazard Analysis Critical Control Point. Okay, so excellence in food quality and safety. So ISO 9000 quality management system. Okay. ISO is nothing but International Organization for Standardization. Okay. Hazards analysis critical control points. And others. What are the other acts or they have put for the stoppage of adulteration? That is milk and milk products. Okay. Order is 1992. Cold storage order 1980. Vegetable oil control order 1976. Okay. So next we'll move on to the preservation and storage of food. How you can preserve the food for longer period, how you can store the food. There are many methods followed by us. Okay. So first we should know what is storage. Okay. So the different types of food materials used by an establishment need separate storage conditions for managing their wholesomeness and expected shelf life. Okay. In that first storage is household method. Okay, household method, a low temperature or cold storage. So whatever at house we are doing mainly, we are using refrigerator, right? Fridge is there. So we'll put the foods inside the fridge. Okay, home refrigerators had made it possible to store and preserve variety of foods. The temperature is 1 to 4 degrees Celsius and prevents the food from spoiling for short time. But frozen foods are kept at minus 18 degree. Okay, preserved food for a year and minus 28 degree, you can preserve it for 1 to 2 years. Okay, freezer you can see, a normal refrigerator you can see. Okay, you want to preserve it for longer time, you can freeze the food items. So first is low temperature or cold storage. Second is drying or dehydrating. You know, we'll keep it in the sunlight for the drying purpose, so all the moistures will be absorbed. Okay. Drying removes the water, and in absence of water, microorganisms cannot grow. Fruits, vegetables, fishes are preserved after drying. Okay, dry fish. Sun drying, freeze drying. Next is smoking. Smoking is a complex mixture of alcohol, acid, phenols, and toxic substances. Meat to be smoked is first salted and then smoked. Okay, next is salting and pickling. You know, the salt is a good preservative. So you can use as a, okay, to prepare the pickles and all, achar. Microorganisms cannot grow in a high concentration of the salt. Next is commercial methods. So previously we have seen the household methods, whatever we are doing at the house. Next we'll see commercial methods. Commercial methods is a big business, okay, big organization, how they are doing. So first one is canning. So canned foods, you can see the canned foods, okay. Indians, we are not using it as frequently, but in abroad you can see even the meat, fish, everything, okay, the pulses, whatever they are doing, they have canned it and kept, okay, canning. Various foods such as fruit juices, milks, baby foods, soups, soft drinks are preserved by canning. The food is first sterilized at high degree temperature, that is 135 to 175 degrees Celsius for a short time, for a few seconds, then cooled and filled in pre-sterilized container. Some loss of vitamins will be there. Okay. If you are watching a history channel, okay, there is a program called Food Factory. So there they will show different variety of foods, how it is prepared from the root. Okay. The program name is Food Factory. If you want, you can see, okay, in history channel. Second one is freezing. A number of foods such as fruits, vegetables, meat and fish are preserved by freezing. Vegetables can be preserved for 8 to 10 months, meat for about 3 months. You are completely freezing the food item. Okay, next by adding preservatives. Preservatives are some kind of substances which will retard the deterioration of food or which will prevent the spoiling of the food. There are two groups of preservation, that is class 1 preservatives and class 2 preservatives. So the class 1 includes sugar, salt, glucose, fructose, alcohol, spices, vinegar and honey. Class 2 includes the chemicals which inhibits microbial growth. Example, salt of benzoic acid, acetic acids. Okay, next is sugar. A high concentration of sugar prevents the molds or the fungus, okay, and yeast and bacteria used to preserve the jams, jellies and canned dried fruits. You can see the cherries and all. Next is irradiations. Radiations of various frequencies ranging from low frequency microwaves to high frequency gamma rays are being used to preserve the foods. That is UV rays, ionizing rays and cold sterilizations. Okay. Next is drying. Drying of milk at large scale in milk plant by mechanical dryers is done to keep for a long time in airtight containers, that is milk powder. Creating a vacuum. Okay, removal of oxygen can stop aerobic microorganisms from growing because they require oxygen. Okay, this can be done by packing foods in airtight containers or vacuum packing of foods as in canned foods. Okay, next, infestations. So the presence of infestations in or around a store can contaminate the food kept for storage and make it unfit for the human consumption. How you can prevent it? It is the most sensible approach for ensuring safe production and serving of food. Cleanliness, enough light, proper ventilation, no overcrowding, free of dust and dirt. Next is food preservation. Okay, already we have seen. It is to prevent the decay or spoilage of food and to keep in the fit shape of the required length of time for the future use. Okay, why we need a food preservation? There is always a shortage of food in developing countries. On the top of it, in modern age, one is not having time to waste in procurement of the food articles daily. Need for food preservations, okay, making the seasonal vegetables available throughout the year. So you can see certain foods which are available only for the season nowadays can see in all the seasons because of the preservations. Okay, adding variety to the food preparations, saving time in procuring and sometimes in cooking. Okay. Increasing the life of food. Principles of food preservation. First is asepsis. Airtight packing of food keeps the microorganisms out. Filtration. Bacteriological filters are used in household to filter the water. Blanching. Blanching is used to destroy the enzymes and to prevent the decompositions. Next, prevention of oxidation. Okay, prevention by adding certain chemicals such as antioxidants can be used. Methods of preservation: bacteriostatic method, bactericidal method. Okay, bacteriostatic in this type of preservation inhibits the growth and multiplication of microorganisms in the food. Example, freezing, pickling and salting. Bactericidal, that we are killing it. Okay, microorganisms are killed. Example, cooking and canning. Okay, so one more thing we have to keep in mind, like while preserving, you're supposed to preserve the nutrients along with the foods. Okay, so mainly we have to wash and soak, washing and soaking. While preparing the food, water soluble vitamins and the minerals leach out in washing and cooking. Okay, so this has to be preserved. So like the whole vegetables has to be washed. So you are not supposed to cut the vegetables and then go for the wash. Okay, it will remove of the nutrients. So another thing, while soaking the vegetables also, you have to soak it in a whole vegetables, not the cutted vegetables. Okay, soaking grains and pulses, okay, are beneficial as the soaking increases the digestibility and reduces the cooking time. Sprouting or fermentation or germinations. For example, you can see the sprouts, sprouted green gram. Okay, it's high in protein. So that's why you have to soak it for overnight. And you remove it in the water and you have to cover it in the cloth and keep it for 1 day. Then next day you can see the sprouts. Food additives, that is extra you're adding in the food. Okay, additives, adding. So it is a substance or mixture of substances intended to use of which results in effect directly or indirectly, which affects the characteristics, okay, of the food, which is unsafe under condition of its use. So food additives are chemicals or any ingredients added to the food products. Okay, for example, some in the food additives you can read, okay, extra what they have add, like carbohydrates, fats, minerals, extra they will add. So all these things are mentioned in the label. So before using any food products, you are supposed to read the label. Okay, intentional or unintentional. Okay, food additives. So you have to improve the qualities and the stability. Some kind of items can be added. Okay, intentionally they may add or unintentionally also they may add while handling or processing or packaging. So E-codes, it is not applicable here because E-codes, the full form of E-codes itself European codes. In the European countries they are using this E-code. Okay, that is their food standard. So they are having some numbers that are no need for you people. So India, see this is an example of the food label which is approved by the food department. Okay, Food and Agriculture Organization of India has approved. Okay, so this is a sample of label, how they are supposed to put it. Okay, nutritional fact they have to write for the how many members it can serve, and the each serving contains how much nutrients and all. So common type of food additives, you can add the colors, emulsifiers, that is some kind of fats you can add, flavorings to improve the flavor you can add, okay, and gelling agents to prepare the jellies, custards and all, and preservatives and sweeteners. Okay, so what are the harmful additives such as sodium nitrates, hydrogenated vegetable oils, monosodium glutamate, potassium bromates, and sodium chlorides. Okay, toxicity. See, something you are adding in excess obviously will cause food poison. So food toxicants, these are the substandard and poor quality which is added to the food to increase their cost, but put hazardous effect on the health of the consumers. Neurolatherism, that is a toxin which is found in the pulse, that is kesri dal, okay, consumed by low socio-economic group, that is in the UP, Bihar and Orissa, they are consuming this kesri dal, okay. Alpha toxins, a group of mycotoxins produced by the fungus. These fungi infest the food grains such as groundnut, maize, wheat, rice under improper conditions produces alpha toxins. 400 cases have been reported, including 100 deaths in Rajasthan and Gujarat. Next, ergots. Okay, these are the field fungus. The food grains such as bajra, wheat, rye have tendency to get this infested during the flowering stage by ergot fungus. Okay, fungus grows as blackish mass and the seeds become black and irregular. The consumption leads to vomiting and giddiness. They can be removed by hand picking and air floating. Next is food allergy. Okay, it may be defined as a sensitivity occurring in certain parts of the body due to one or more specific foods. The body's immune system keeps you healthy by fighting off infections and okay. So a food allergy may occur when your immune system overreacts to the food or the substance in the food, identifying it as a dangerous or the triggering factor. Symptoms of allergic reactions. Okay, vomiting, hives, urticaria, that is itching, shortness of breath, wheezing, repetitive cough. In severe cases, you can see shock, circulatory collapse, tight and the hoarse throat, trouble in swallowing, swelling of the neck, weak pulse, pale or blue discoloration of the skin, dizziness and feeling faint. So certain foods which account 90% of the reaction. First one is egg, milk, peanuts, tree nuts, fish, shellfish, wheat, and soya. Okay, to identify these allergies, we'll do some kind of skin test, scratch test, intradermal test. So why we are having allergy to the eggs? Eggs is rich in protein, we know, right? So certain proteins are causing allergic reactions, such as these are the different proteins that are present in the egg. Okay, ovotransferrin, ovomucoid, ovoglobulins, lysosomes, and avidin. Fortification. It is a process whereby nutrients are added to foods to maintain or to improve the quality of diet of group. Okay. So commercial and industrial use will use the flour and some home fortification vitamin D drops can be added to the food. Safe food handling. Okay, all the staff reports on duty must be fresh, clean and well groomed. This is in the industrial area. Tie the hair and wear the head caps. Fingernails must be cut short and clean. Hands to be washed. All the cuts must be covered with the waterproof dressing. No spitting and smoking in the kitchen. When sneezing, cover the mouth. Food should be kept covered. Food must be handled as little as possible. Anybody suffering from diarrhea, vomiting, sore throat, okay, and inflamed womb should not touch or handle any kind of foods. Okay, so that is regarding the cooking and the food preparations. Okay, so these are the possible questions which may come from this unit, that is food standards, preservation of food, adulteration, okay, sorry, prevention of food adulteration, storage of food, principles and methods of cooking, food additives and its principles, food preservatives, preservation of nutrients, different methods of cooking, food allergy, boiling, frying, preparation of simple beverages of different types, and food standards. Okay, these are the possible questions which may arise during the exam.